Today is a come on. Today is an interesting day. It is 28th September, Tuesday, 2021. I don't usually do this, but I say the date. But today is, I think, one of the more. This is a really interesting day. This week, the Speaker of the House has said that she will get a vote passed on the infrastructure bill, which means by Thursday. Just to remind you, you have the three types of freedoms: of tyranny, slavery, and freedom. When freedom, it has to have rights and responsibilities. Right now, Mitch McConnell actually did a favor. He struck down the debt ceiling. Right now, it's quote debt ceiling fight. It's not a debt ceiling fight. I'm going to explain that a little bit better. And they used the filibuster, but it was the false filibuster that we've been speaking about. What I mean by that false filibuster, it is that filibuster that it's not really, it's a non-talking filibuster. They send it in by email. It's a BS filibuster. Say what you will about Strom Thurmond, at least he was willing to sit on the floor and say he's a straight up bigot. Okay, and that's the talk. We need to return to the talking filibuster. And this is the proposal. Still the filibuster, but it's that we truly have a moral disagreement, as opposed to, I'm going to be a lazy snot and just hang out and just create chaos for everybody. That's that filibuster. So, I want to get into the next position, which is, which one do I want? We're gonna take care of McConnell. McConnell and Gates have been wearing this tan suit. You remember when Obama wore the tan suit, everyone got triggered? That's what they're doing. They're on purpose triggering the base, getting them all riled up. That 78% number about people believing the election was stolen, or Republicans believing. They're using that. They're going to try to use that as a shield, because McConnell knows that everything I'm saying is correct. He and all the Republicans who did not vote to impeach the president for incitement of an insurrection are in contempt of Congress and in contempt of the Constitution. So they're going on the attack. The debt ceiling, it has nothing to do with the debt ceiling. What McConnell is doing is trying to attack me, and that would seem to be crazy, and I would think that'd be crazy too, quite honest with you. But thinking about it, he knows that what I'm saying is correct, and and it's been a while, and this has been an incremental attack. It's two parts, so I'll explain this part first, and then I'll come back to the actual attack. But I've been being steered, as I said, I was being steered, and I let the steering see where it would take me. Okay, and it hit me. They have to keep. Right now, I am a legally voting citizen. I have an abode. Only, and the moment that I don't have an abode, then I can't say I am a voting citizen. And they can say, well, you don't have to listen to this person. You don't have to listen to the voter. So McConnell, what he's going to do is not do the debt ceiling, not raise the debt ceiling, use this false filibuster, and he's not going to make a carve out for the vets. So he's going to piss off, and then he's going to blame the Democrats for it. McConnell is attacking me, and he's going to use the vets to do it. Here's the thing: what McConnell doesn't understand. The other day when I was doing that quote, having that conversation with those two persons at this small convenience store, there's this old vet who's always sitting there. Every time I see him, and it's always been, yep, the acknowledgement and kind of grumpy, but hey, he's a vet. He's got his vet hat on. And you just know he's a vet. We're both vets. When they're talking to her about this, about the Constitution, what I'm thinking, and he comes up, and usually he's just got a more of a grumpy face. But what he was doing was quietly letting me know he had my back. You know, didn't get into the space. Vets know about space or big about our space, and just enough to let me know, still multiple distances away, because vets have we have a sixth sense about people being around us, and he let me know that he had my back. So this, even though the chick was going to do her thing later on, at that time, she couldn't pull any crapola, and he was allowing me to finish what I needed to learn. And it hit me later on that that's have my back, and it also it was a friend of mine's dad is who's a retired light colonel. Same thing. I'm starting to realize that. So what I'm saying is McConnell raises the debt ceiling. I mean, doesn't allow to raise the debt ceiling. He's purposely attacking the vets, and you're not going to allow him to make a carve out. No carve outs, because this isn't about the budget or anything like that. This is purely a power play, and they always use us vets as these looky vets. Yay, yay, yay! Love the vets, love the blue. Okay, we're done. You get over there. Oh, you're not supposed to think. Get over there. Do be our prop. Say how much we love you, and then we're going to screw you later on. No, not this time. Every vet, if they're enlisted, they're sworn to the office. If to the officer of that office. If they're officer, they're sworn to the Constitution. We do not serve a person. We serve the Constitution. So you're enlisted, you're an agent to the officer who is an agent of the Constitution. And Mitch McConnell is an agent of the Constitution. He is a person holding an office of the Constitution, which is the office of a senator. The situation is McConnell is he's not he knows he's in a bad position, so he's going on the attack, and that's why they're riling up Trump supporters, as I've said. And this one's going to be there's multiple things, but I don't want all of them to be so super long because this one's which is unusual. Yeah, because I'd rather have this one passable, and I also want to separate them. So we'll just keep this one just McConnell and the debt, because the other ones, well, this one connects to. This is you have to impeach McConnell and the entire Republican caucus. It's one or the other. It's McConnell and the Republican caucus and or Trump, or it's McConnell and or Trump. Because McConnell's going to try to, like all candy butts, is going to try to take the entire Republican caucus. Those who did not, those who are could be considered a contempt of Congress down with him. Donald Trump on the January 6th made a statement that says that, not implied, blatant, pure logic. And he said, we are going to walk down to the Capitol. And when he did the Capitol, that was in what's called an NLP, neuro linguistic programming, and embedded command, because the dynamic range went up, and it's designed to make you cringe. And it was all, and he does that a lot, and he does that on purpose. And persons like him do that a lot with their language. But from a pure logical statement, if we break it down, the word we, that's called a logical inclusive. So the set of people that were there at the Stop the Steal rally, which means you got to go looking at Roger Stone because he's the one who set it up. Stop the Steal rally, we, so he's including himself. He didn't say you guys go down and walk down to the Capitol. He said we are going to walk down to the Capitol. So he instructed and stated as a group. So now it's as the group, they are an agency to the president because they believe they were an agency to the president. They have stated in court documents they were an agency to the president. They walked down to the Capitol building without permission. They walked into the halls of Capitol without permission. Now I've said stepped onto the floor. It's actually onto the Congress, into the halls of Congress itself. But if you connect it all the way to the floor, it's a lot easier to be more thorough. And Mitch McConnell would say, as I've said, would say that there isn't any proof. What you need to do, if you are a data scientist, find this person, Brad Corson, use depth first search, find the people who were in sets, people who were on the floor of the House, people who were on the floor of the Senate, people who were just milling around, who didn't make it all the way to the floor, but were in and or on the Capitol. Work your way back to this guy from two different directions, him towards it, them back, depth first search, probably the greedy first search to coordinate, and then you're going to do a graph to find the language sets. And then in those language sets graphs, you will find that this was an expected coup or attack on the Capitol. But you don't even really need that because everything's already in the court documents. And the former president himself stated that. And as you remember, because of that, remember with this particular, no agent, only person who can walk between the White House and Congress is the vice president. And right now, the structure of the government is that because Congress did not act, the president technically does not have to listen to Congress by precedent, even though we're acting on as if he is. That's what the next autocrat is going to say, since Congress did not uphold their part of the Constitution, and law is both by letter, spirit, to create precedent, by destruction of precedent, by not following both the letter and spirit, Congress is now a supplicant to the president. This is different than maybe the president elbowing a little more, or kind of not following a rule, or kind of doing the maybe breaking the law a bit over here, trying to get something done. This is a direct attack on the co-equal branch of government. There is actually a jail underneath Congress specifically to enforce that. Now, I'm going to, and this is the plan. I will give you leverage in another video because I want those two split in the next video, because that one's going to be a bear, much harder, easier to do, but it's just as consequential, if not more so, because it's also yeah, I'm going to do that one because a little bit differently, because this one is specifically about the plan to take on McConnell. The other one is going to be something else, because you have to you have to McConnell's going to use is going to use the debt ceiling to hijack and then blame the Democrats like they always do. But they're going to want a carve out for the vets. No carve outs. It's He's using that to attack me, so that way I don't have a place. So that way he can, because that's where everything was, all of the micro movements, and then I'll explain in the next video. Why am I going to say next video? Yeah, because I just don't want it in this one. It is. Oh, I know why. It's. Yeah, because I just want this one to speak specifically about McConnell, even though they're both connected. You need to. McConnell, by doing the debt ceiling, that's him calling the bluff on saying that that the Democrats will not go to impeach him and the full Republican caucus. Because remember, I said you pulled them to contempt of Congress, contempt of the Constitution, then they are no longer technically in the representatives. Now you can technically bring them back if they pull their butts out of their heads, but we are in a constitutional crisis. McConnell is betting that it's just me banging this drum, or it's just, quote, those melanated persons banging the drum. What Mitch McConnell does not realize is it's not. It's some of the most powerful Republicans, some of the most powerful families in this world, veterans, and other groups. Even though you have those businesses, believe it or not, even though you have those businesses that are still playing the game, they know they better be on the right side of history if the Democrats grow the spine and do this. The Republicans are betting that they will create chaos on the street, just like what happened to Zuma when the South Africans held him to account. I'm having a really bad feeling concerning Mitch McConnell's wife and why he's doing this. He thinks he's simply, because it's not simply to politics, he's protecting himself. And this is not a political, this is something else. Even his rhythms are different. The GOP is on the ropes, but you gotta have the spine to hold them to it. Personally, it should be McConnell. It's either McConnell and or Trump. Because pardon me. Because McConnell, knowing he has stated he is the most powerful person as senator in Washington. He did the whole tan suit thing to say how he stood up to Obama. He's been wearing that tan suit, driving up, getting the Republican base because it's triggering them because it triggers them back to the Obama tan suit thing. Gates is getting in on the whole little thing as well because he's realized it. I've sat back and watched. You you have to impeach McConnell. You have to call him on his bluff and prepare for right-wing violence. If you do nothing, and what I mean by you, I mean the persons who truly believe in the Constitution, do nothing, then the Republic will have fallen on your watch. This is not hyperbole. This is how the Constitution was set up. So if they start saying anything, it's like, hey, the Constitution only applies to, Caucasoid people. We're just following the Constitution, dude. I don't know why you're all upset. See you in the next video.